So guys, I hope you're all doing really well. I hope yourself, your family are all staying safe in this craziness that's going on right now. Look guys, I'm excited for this video. Essentially what I'm going to be doing in this video is giving you guys literally a free module out of the Quantum Leap Ecomm Agency program. Literally giving you an entire free module, and essentially in this module that I'm going to be sharing with you, I'm going through why Ecomm is the best niche for SMMA, okay? Obviously there's a bunch of videos out there online on YouTube and whatnot talking about, you know, like what niches should you pick, this and that. And in this module in the program that as I say, I'm gonna share with you here in a minute for free, I just break it down why it's almost a no-brainer as to why you should get into the Ecomm niche. I think after this, guys, you will literally see just, it's, you know, if you pick any other any other niche, it's just like, for me, I just don't understand. I can't understand. Once you go through this module, I'm sure you'll be in the same boat. It's just like, it just genuinely doesn't make sense. And any other niche out there just doesn't make sense after you realize how just perfect the Ecomm niche is. So as I say, I'm going to share the entire module with you guys. As always, if you do like the video, make sure you go ahead, subscribe to the channel and like the video as well. Leave your comments down below as well. I'm super interested to hear your guys' thoughts and whatnot. And look guys, just before we jump straight into it, I don't want to hold you guys for too long. If you are interested in the Quantum Leap Ecomm Agency program, which obviously as majority of you guys now know, it's basically an A to Z on basically exactly how I've built a multi-six-figure Ecomm agency. Obviously, as the name states, it's how to build an Ecomm agency and really how to build a multi-six-figure Ecomm agency. I lay everything out on the table for you guys, everything from outreach to sales, to service delivery, to building an actual team, an actual business, to the operations and systems within an agency that are required, etc., etc. I literally just go through everything and really just cover everything that I have used and continue to use that has got me to multiple six figures with my Ecomm agency. So as I say, first link in the description if that interests you. But with that being said, guys, here is the entire free module. So guys, welcome back to another module of the Quantum Leap Ecomm Agency program. Now in this module, guys, I'm going to be talking about why Ecomm beats all, okay? We need to understand this before we kind of dive headfirst into the Ecomm niche, because, you know, if you go into the Ecomm niche and, you know, you may be struggling or whatever, and really you probably won't struggle too much given that you've got, you know, you're in this program. But you know, sometimes people have second thoughts and whatnot, and then they start start to look at the niche and start doubting the niche, and think, you know, the grass is greener on the other side, right? That's a trap that a lot of people fall into, is that, oh, Ecomm is hard, so I'm going to try this niche over here, and then they go there and they realize that niche is hard as well. Or it's just as hard. Then they go over and, you know, they just keep kind of niche hopping, we call it, and you never get anywhere at that point. So in this module, guys, as I said, I want to be talking about why Ecomm beats all, and why once you take the plunge, once you say, yep, I'm going into the Ecomm niche, why you should never look back. Because really, if you go into any other niche after this module, like, it's almost stupid, okay? So let's dive straight in. So in this module, guys, here's what we're going to cover. Okay, first things first, we're going to talk about just the ease of getting Ecomm clients. Okay, so many people talk about how it's so much easier to get a restaurant client or get a gym client, and how getting Ecomm clients is like the hardest thing in the world. Well, I'm going to put that to bed in this module, guys, and talk about, as I say, it's actually easier to get clients. In my opinion, it's easier to get Ecomm clients. Okay, and again, we're going to be going through this. Second thing we're going to talk about is just an increase in cash flow. Like, the cash flow that an Ecomm agency produces is so much higher than that of a restaurant niche, or a restaurant agency, I should say. Okay. Third thing, how less is more for scaling, and how the Ecomm niche actually warrants that. Okay, the Ecomm niche actually you know, adds to that kind of concept of like less is more for scaling. Ecomm actually allows you to do that. Whereas again, local business niche, actually severely limits you. Okay, and again, we're going to be getting onto that. And the final thing there, we're just going to be talking about the problem with other niches, really. Like, you know, we're just going to compare the two and just weigh them both up. Because obviously, yes, I'm biased, but I'm biased for a reason, right? I'm biased for a specific reason as to why the Ecomm niche is the best niche out there. And so, as I say, I'm going to be giving you those reasons and just really just be talking about the problems that come along with other niches. Okay, so guys, let's dive straight into it. So, as I say, ease of getting clients. So first things first, just there's the amount of medians, okay? Like, you know, with local businesses and whatnot, like you, for the most part, I mean, I'm not too well versed in local business because, you know, I just never have messed with it, apart from when I very first started my agency. But I'm pretty sure that there's usually only ever one way, right? It's either cold calls that work, or it's either Facebook messages that work, or this that works, or that works, right? Usually there's only one way. With Ecomm though, there's so many medians to get clients through, okay? And as I say, as I go on to say there, when it comes to signing on clients for Ecomm, there are a multitude of medians that you can successfully get clients from. This not only increases your chance of getting clients, but also diversifies your outreach. Okay, so I mean, just those last 2 points there, they're vital for outreach, right? You want to do something where your chances are increased, and you also want to diversify your outreach, right? Because by diversifying, it means, again, you've got more chance. It means that, you know, potentially you could follow up with one prospect across a multitude of different medians, which could then result in them converting, etc., right? So, I mean, there's just so many different medians. And as I say, with local business, this is something that, you know, for the most part, again, I might be being slightly naive here, but I'm pretty sure for the most part, it's usually only ever one, you know, one median, whether it be cold call, whether it be cold email, that works. As again, with Ecomm, there's just so many different medians. Okay, and really, guys, it's actually not as hard as you think. Like, genuinely, it's not as hard as you think, because when you're equipped with the right knowledge, okay, getting Ecomm clients is no harder than getting a restaurant client, for example. And in all honesty, like, this is just me being completely transparent. In my opinion, I actually find it's easier to get Ecomm clients, and especially once you go through the outreach section for this program. So, you know, myself, and I know actually quite a few other students in this program, they genuinely think getting clients in the Ecomm niche is actually easier than getting it in the local business niche. And obviously that probably comes as a shock to majority of you guys watching this, simply because, you know, you get so many people saying that you need to start out in local business because local business is so much easier in that you can, you know, get some knowledge, build your knowledge, get some clients, and then you can transition into Ecomm. You should never start out in Ecomm niche because it's so much harder. But guys, like, I'm just being transparent with you. In my opinion, I actually think it's a lot easier to get Ecomm clients. Again, once you go through the outreach section of this program, like, I genuinely think you'll get to a point, given what we're going to be going through in this program, I genuinely think you're going to get to a point where clients and getting new clients won't actually be like the main problem in your agency, right? And I'm not saying there's going to be bigger problems. I'm saying the fact that getting clients will actually not be like a really, obviously it's always going to be a main focus, but it's not going to be like the one thing that you're always trying to do, because it's just not going to be a problem for you anymore. Okay, so again, just the ease of getting clients in the Ecomm niche is so much easier. Second thing, guys, global. Okay, global clients. Within the e-commerce niche, we can get clients from all over the globe. Now, this makes our chance of getting clients and ultimately building a multi-six figure, you know, Ecomm agency, which obviously is my main goal for this program, is to get everybody who comes in here, get them a multi-six figure Ecomm agency. As I say, this makes our chances of getting clients and building a multi-six figure Ecomm agency so much better, right? Because we can go all over the globe. And for example, I mean, this is just genuinely what I'm doing, right? For example, at the time of recording this, Bax Consulting has 7 clients, one of which is in Australia and the rest are spotted all over the globe. Okay, and majority of you guys know that I'm actually based in Australia. I'm based in Perth, Australia. Very, very isolated state within Australia. Now, obviously, Australia is isolated from the world. But anyway, I'm based in Perth, Australia, and one of my clients is in Australia, and even that client is on the other side of Australia. They're like, I think it's around a 4 or 5 hour flight from where I am. So they're not even near me, right? But I've only got one in Australia, and the rest are spotted all over the globe. So like, given this now, like getting clients as well, again, going back to my previous point, it's just so much easier because you've got the whole world as your target market, as opposed to, you know, the gyms within like a 15-kilometer radius of you or whatever it is, right? And it's a lot more accepted, okay, in e-com niche, because I know you're probably thinking like, well, I can get a restaurant client in the US if I'm in Australia. Like, yes, you can, but in the e-com niche, it's a lot more accepted, okay? And as I go on to say, getting an e-com client on the other side of the world is so much more accepted than getting a restaurant client on the other side of the world. And this is simply due to the dynamic of an e-commerce brand being online 99% of the time, right? Which makes e-com owners naturally more open to working with you in a different country. And, you know, this is a concept that we're going to explore more within this module, but you got to think of the dynamics of businesses, okay? What are owners most comfortable doing, right? Because for the most part, people usually don't do something that they feel uncomfortable with, right? They don't do something that they either don't understand or don't feel comfortable with. And so if the dynamic of a business is online, for example, right, like e-com owners are more comfortable doing business online, okay? So as I mentioned there, like they are just going to be naturally more open to working with you online despite where you are in the world. Conversely, if we look at, say, gyms, for example, the dynamic of their business is face-to-face. They have built their entire business on the back of, handshakes, face-to-face interaction, etc., etc. So for them to bring a service provider on that's in the US and they're in the UK, for example, like, yes, as I say, yes, you technically can still get them, but it's just a lot harder, okay? And, you know, for the most part, local business owners are going to be more turned off to the idea. And an objection that I see quite a lot between students that were in the local business niche, obviously they've transitioned now because, you know, they've gone through this program, but my students that were in the local business niche and whatnot, an objection they see quite a lot is, oh yeah, we'd love to move forward, but it's just the fact that you're over the other side of the world, or you're in this country and we're here. We don't feel comfortable with that. We'd rather you come in on a weekly basis or something like that. With Ecomm, that's just a non-existent objection, okay? Third thing, okay, increase in conversion rate. So as I kind of just went on a little side tangent there, I kind of explain it more in this point here, but stuck in old ways, okay, stuck in old ways. You will find that the majority of local businesses are very much stuck in old ways in terms of running their business. So this will not only result in making it unnecessarily hard for you to sign clients to your local lead gen agency, but oftentimes it will also result in you working with terrible clients. And what I mean by this is that, you know, majority of local business owners and whatnot, they're very, very used to doing flyers. They're very used to doing billboards, referrals and referral programs and whatnot. And so the thought of them transitioning and really just stopping all of what they're used to then kind of adopt this new marketing, which is obviously online and paid traffic and social media marketing, you know, that's what it boils down to. That, again, as I kind of touched on before, it's going to be uncomfortable for them, okay? It's going to be uncomfortable and they may not understand it. And because they're stuck in old ways, they'd prefer to just be comfortable by staying with what they're currently doing because it's doing okay, right? Handing out flyers may just be doing okay for them, and so they prefer to feel comfortable and stay where they are rather than adopting this new marketing system, or, you know, whatever you want to call it, paid traffic, whatever. And so that is just going to make it unnecessarily hard for you to sign clients, because you know, even if they are open to the idea, even if they do think, oh yeah, online advertising sounds great, if they're just stuck in old ways and they don't want to move forward because they just feel comfortable doing what they're doing, it's going to make it very, very hard for you to sign a client. Okay. And as I go on to say there, it will actually also result in you working with terrible clients. So even if the client does bite the bullet and say, okay, let's do it, they, you know, and I'm just talking for the broader, you know, talking for the broader scheme of things here. This is not for every single client, but for majority of times, those clients will result in bad clients because they're going to micromanage you. They're going to be constantly asking you all this different stuff. And they're never just going to give you the freedom to do what you need to do and do what your marketing agency does best. Because again, they may not understand it. They, you know, because it's something new, they're always going to be looking and seeing and, you know, just looking every single day and whatnot. And again, later on in this program, I go through what a perfect client looks like and really you know, we build out your client avatar and whatnot. So you'll understand what I mean when I say you'll start to work with terrible clients, because again, later in the program, we're going to be walking through, just picking out exactly what a terrible client looks like so that you and your agency only ever work with amazing clients. So we'll get onto that later, but just know that local businesses are so stuck in old ways. It's not even funny. And really that just boils down to resulting in making it unnecessarily hard for you to sign them as a client, okay? Next point, conversion rate is higher with Ecomm. Okay, conversion rate is higher with Ecomm. So conversely, with Ecomm, for the most part, owners are far more open to new innovative ideas to grow their business. Also, the idea of online paid traffic to an Ecomm brand is common sense for them, right? It's common sense, as their entire business lives online. Whereas for a local lead gen client, it is brand new territory in which they feel uncomfortable in. Okay, so e-commerce, okay guys, you need to, again, we're going back to the dynamic of the business, you know, of the Ecomm niche and like a local lead gen niche, okay? The dynamic of an Ecomm brand is very new. Okay, if we look at local business, how long a local business, you know, kind of that industry has been going on for, I mean, I don't know the exact numbers, but it's a very, very long time. Conversely with Ecomm is probably really only, you know, flourished and blossomed. Again, I don't know exact numbers, but I'd probably say in the last maybe 10 years, maybe, around the last 10 years, Ecomm has kind of become what it is today. So it's still a very new idea. And so Ecomm owners, naturally, given the dynamic of an Ecomm brand, Ecomm owners are just more innovative. They're more open to new ideas and new experiences. They're more open to trying the latest and greatest. They're more open to, you know, like I say, just trying what's working now, as opposed to what has worked 10 years ago for their business or something, you know, like I say, I'm comparing with local lead gen. I feel like as though with local lead gen, as I said in the first point, they're stuck in old ways, which means they think what worked 10 years ago for them is still going to work. Whereas with an Ecomm brand, they don't care what works yesterday, they care about what works today, okay? And so what works today is online paid traffic, and this makes them more open because naturally the dynamic of their brand and their business is so new still, okay? So they're gonna be more open, they're open to new innovative ideas to grow their business, okay? Now, sales script. Okay, so when we pair this idea with, and this idea being that the conversion rate is just so much higher with Ecomm brands. So when we pair this idea with the ridiculously powerful sales script I'm gonna be giving you in the later weeks of this program, it will almost be impossible for you not to close a client who is qualified, okay? Trust me on this, guys. When we pair this idea that conversion rate is high with Ecomm, when we pair that with just the entire sales week alone of this program, but more specifically, the step-by-step sales script that I give you in this program, when we pair that idea with that sales script, if a client is qualified, it will be almost impossible for you not to go ahead and close that client. Trust me, okay? And the reason I say if they're qualified is because You could be the best salesperson in the world. You know, you could be a Grant Cardone, you could be a Jordan Belfort, you could be one of these amazingly powerful salespeople. But if the client isn't qualified, then nobody's ever going to, nobody is ever going to sell them. And so this is another reason why in the outreach section of this program, we go through in just rigorous detail how to qualify clients, because that really serves as the basis of you signing on a client, right? And so once we've got a qualified client, when you pair that idea with the sales script and the sales week that you're going to be going through later in this program, it will be impossible for you not to close a client who, again, is qualified, okay? So let's look at cash flow, okay? Cash flow, higher retainers. So first things first, with e-commerce, you can naturally charge higher monthly retainers straight off the bat. Okay, so this obviously is just straight away is going to increase in cash flow anyway, because you can just straight off the bat again charge higher monthly retainers. And this is directly correlated to the fact that majority of e-com brands have higher profit margins. They have higher profit margins due to them not needing to hire a shop front in the city center like local businesses do. They also don't need to, they also don't overhire like certain local businesses do, as e-commerce brands know exactly what their numbers are. Okay, so, you know, with local businesses, they not only have the cost of the product, that whatever it is that they're selling, if it is a product, if it's like a restaurant, if it's like a gym, obviously gym equipment and whatnot. So they don't only have that cost, they don't only have employee costs, okay? They don't only have marketing costs, but they also have rental costs, right? Wherever they're situated, they're going to be renting that. And, you know, for quite a few local businesses, the rent is just extortionate. So their cash flow of their business, right? We're not talking about the agency here, your agency. We're talking about their business. Their cash flow is severely limited. So there's just no way you can go in there and charge the same retainer that you could with an e-com brand. With an e-com brand, they've got product costs, advertising costs. So that's basically it. And employee costs. But as I go on to say there, they never ever overhire. You know, with a restaurant or something, or even a gym really, like, they often will overhire. And what I mean by that is the fact that they would rather have more people than not enough people. They don't want to have one person, let's say for a restaurant, who's running the floor and it's packed and, you know, just every single table's filled out. So they'd rather have 3 or 4. But then one night, maybe a down night, so they've hired 3 or 4 people for that night. But then the customers who come in is super low. So they often overhire, which obviously results in them spending even more, which then reduces their cash flow again. With e-com brands, you don't get that. E-com brands know what they need, they know their numbers, and they know that it's very, very predictable. So they only hire what they need. Again, this increases their cash flow, which means that, again, you can just naturally charge higher retainers, okay? Now, for higher results. The amount of results you can generate an e-commerce brand is honestly crazy, okay? Again, in conjunction with the previous point, this correlates to how much you can charge the client. Charging a local lead gen business $5,000 per month is genuinely unheard of. In the e-commerce niche, however, $5,000 per month serves as an average client retainer. And like I say, like it's just genuinely unheard of to charge a local lead gen $5K a month. Like you just don't do that. But you know, as I mentioned again before, charging an e-com brand $5K a month, that's literally an average retainer, okay? And so again, increase in client retention. Because of this just insane amount of results you can generate a client, you will soon become a massive portion or part of their monthly income. And due to this, you naturally become a clear no-brainer to them, and it's at this point that they will stay with you for a very, very long time. Okay, the only way they will leave you is if the client brings the marketing in-house, and really the majority of time they'll sign back on with you anyway, because they realize it's harder than they thought. Okay, so I mean, all of these points here just literally just fuel the idea that just cash flow of an ecom agency is so much higher. And that's actually a really nice segue into this final point here, which is scalability, okay? So less is more. Okay, as you can see there, I don't know if you can make it out, but it means less is more, okay? And it's not all about volume. So when trying to scale an agency, it's not always about getting more clients, right? And I know that's probably contrary to popular belief, because you probably think if I want to scale, I need to get more clients. But it's actually not all about that. Rather, it's about decreasing the volume, but increasing the value of each client that you do have. So for example, instead of going from 5 clients to 10 clients to double your revenue, it's far better to go from 5 clients paying $3,000 per month to 5 clients paying $6,000 per month. To, you know, getting the same result, you're still doubling your revenue, but you're going about it in a different way. The problem with this is that within the local business niche, you are severely limited. You know, tying back in with what I was talking about here in terms of cash flow, local business brands just do not have the cash flow like an ecom brand does. Okay, and again, I'm not talking about your agency's cash flow, I'm talking about the niches themselves. Local businesses just do not have the same cash flow that ecom brands do. And so this severely limits you in terms of the amount that you can charge. So with the local business niche, you're almost forced to go down the volume route to scale your agency, which, you know, it's fine, but it's just not the best way to scale. As I say, less is more. However, ecom warrants this. So as I say, conversely, the ecom niche allows you to do this at unseen heights. And because of this, scaling an ecom agency is so much easier than scaling a local business agency. Tying back in with cash flow, because we can get a lot better results for ecom brands, we can charge a lot higher retainers, which means we don't need as many clients in order to scale. Okay, and so this makes focusing on the service delivery side of your agency just as, if not more important, than the outreach side. Okay, and again, do not worry at all. We will be going into super deep detail as to how to deliver the best results possible for your ecom client. Okay, we're going to be going through this in the service delivery week of the program, but just know that like scaling an ecom agency is so much easier, because not only the results that we generate for an ecom brand are just so much higher than a local business, because again, you know, with majority of ecom brands, the brand is selling global, right? They're selling all over the world. So your target market that you can, you know, kind of put the ads in front of and whatnot is like literally the globe. Whereas with a local business, you know, your target market is like a 15-kilometer radius around that business. So you're severely limited in terms of how much results you can generate the brand. And that's just going to naturally, that does naturally correlate to how much you can charge them. So that's what I mean when I say you can scale an ecom agency to unseen heights, because if your service deliveries, the service delivery side of your agency is down packed, you can consistently get results. Then like you can just charge almost anything you want, as long as you're bringing in, you know, double, triple, 5x, 10x what you're charging. And you can do that with an ecom agency, whereas you cannot do that with a local business. Okay, and again, as I say, do not worry if you're thinking about results, you don't know how to get them, you're very new to this or whatever. Don't worry, I'm going to be going through just in ridiculous detail how to deliver the best possible results for your ecom clients. So again, don't worry, this program is going to equip you with everything, guys. So ROAS deals, okay? The money is in the ROAS. Within the ecom niche, you can also make an agreement with your client where you charge a percentage of return on ad spend, which stands for, percentage of return on ad spend, which in acronyms is ROAS, okay? Return on ad spend. So you can charge a percentage of ROAS in addition to your flat monthly retainer. This essentially means that if you generate a client $100,000 in 1 month from $20,000 ad spend, and you have a 10% ROAS deal in place, then not only will you get paid your flat retainer, but also $8,000 on top of your flat retainer. So if you have a retainer of say $5,000 for an ecom client, which again is a very, very average retainer for a client, Ecomm client that is. So on top of that 5,000 flat fee that you get paid every month regardless, if you have a 10% ROAS deal in place in 1 month, you know, you've got your service delivery side of your agency down packed and you generate 100,000 in 1 month from 20,000 ad spend, then on top of the 5,000 flat fee, you're gonna get paid $8,000 on top. So that's a $13,000 per month client. Again, I mean, probably needless for me to say, but this is just, you know, this is impossible to do within a local lead gen niche, okay? And as I say there as well, less is more, okay? So as you can see, when it comes to scaling, less is more. But with local businesses, you are limited and you're focused to scale by volume. So less is more. So as you can see, when it comes to scaling, less is more, okay? But with the local businesses, you are limited and you're forced to scale by volume, because otherwise there is literally no way for you to possibly scale without scaling by volume. So you're forced to scale by volume. However, when it comes to Ecomm, scaling is far easier and you can scale to far higher heights. Like, I don't care how much volume you got with a local lead gen, you can scale so much higher with an Ecomm agency, and you can scale so much more efficiently because you're going, you know, you're scaling with the idea of less is more. And again, as you guys now know, that is the best possible way for you to scale an agency, okay? So guys, at this point, there is truly no reason why you should have any second thoughts about diving headfirst into the Ecomm niche with your agency, okay? After all of this, after this module as a whole, there is truly no reason why you should have any second thoughts about diving headfirst into the Ecomm niche with your agency. So now, let's now take your Ecomm agency to 6 and multi-6 figures. Okay guys, it's time. It's time now for us to go through in detail into this program and go through every single aspect, from outreach to sales to service delivery to building your actual agency and the systems and processes that come along with that, you know, to building the foundations, starting off with the foundations and then really just looking at scaling to, as I say, 6 and multi-6 figures with your Ecomm agency. It's time. I know this initial kind of week hasn't been overly valuable, but it's stuff that we need to go through and we need to, you know, I need to implant into you before we look at 6 and multi-6 figures, because there's also a mindset shift that you need to have. And what we've done in week 1 is almost just laying the foundations and just showing you why what you're doing is the best way to get to your goals, whatever they may be. It's the best way to get to your goals, and it's very important for you to remember, you know, in the hard times when things aren't looking too great, or you don't feel motivated, or you just feel like everything's just not going your way, whatever it is, we need to go through this initial week, because this is now gonna, you know, ignite you in those times and just show you that you're in the best business model, first things first, and then within that business model, you are now in the best niche, you're in the best industry within that business model. So really, like, it's almost impossible, like I say, given this program, it's almost, and you know, given this program, given the industry we're in and the sub niche that we're in, obviously the Ecomm niche within SMMA I'm talking about, and coupling that with this program, it's almost impossible for you to not get to 6 and multi-6 figures with your Ecomm agency. So guys, with that being said, I am super excited to essentially officially start our journey into this program. And with that being said, guys, I will see you in the next module. So I hope you enjoyed that module, guys. As I say, I'm sure you can see now why just Ecomm is just the best niche out there. So as I said at the start of this video, go ahead, first link in the description, it's going to take you to the Quantum Leap Ecomm Agency program. And I truly cannot wait to see you inside of the community, guys.